You're watching ABC7 News at 6.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis.
And I'm Jacqueline Matter. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Our top story this evening, a tropical storm and storm surge watch is in effect for Anna Maria Island north because of Hurricane Michael.
That's right. You're looking live at Apalachicola up in the Florida Panhandle, where they are preparing for a possible direct hit in that area.
Governor Rick Scott has declared a state of emergency. We'll hear from him a little later on in the newscast. But first, let's get to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with our first alert forecast. Bob?
Thanks, Scott. Yeah, the Panhandle of Florida looks like is the bullseye for Michael on Wednesday midday. Hurricane warnings are now up. They have been issued at 5 o'clock this afternoon by the National Hurricane Center for the Panhandle of Florida. This system is going to get better organized. It had been battling some strong westerly shear. You'll notice on this enhanced satellite imagery, there's where the explosion of storms has been. Pressures have been lowering there, and you can start to see deep convection developing around the center, which is about 30 miles northwest of the tip of Cuba here. It's about 500 plus miles south of Apalachicola. It is moving to the north now, and you can see a lot of rainfall, and look at the deep convection well to the east of the center. And if it stays on this northerly course and it gets close enough to us, we're going to see some of this heavier rainfall and gusty winds with the potential for some isolated tornadoes. Latest on it, the winds are now up to 80 miles an hour sustained with gusts up to 100 miles an hour. There's the forecast cone. That really hasn't changed much at all, which is a good sign for us here. We're not going to see the direct hurricane force winds here. It will generate some high surf, however, and we have a surf watch in effect as far as the storm surge goes, and a surf advisory as well as rip current advisories up to 110 tomorrow by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Landfall as a Category 3 major hurricane, but again, hurricane forecasting intensity is a little bit suspect, so it could be higher, it could be lower, but with a developing storm system like this, it's very certain that they're going to get some strong storm surge in the Big Bend area all the way over to Apalachicola to the right of the center. There's what I mentioned by all the other forecasts all kind of combined. And you can see nothing deviates to the right at all. So we're not going to see a big shift to the right with these, maybe a gradual shift to the right or even to the left of the center with the next advisories as they come out. The full advisory will be out at 11 o'clock tonight. The storm risks for us, as we break it down, there is a moderate risk for tornadoes as we get some of these bands that may be moving through. As far as the damaging winds sustained, it doesn't appear that that's going to be there, so I don't think any need for shuttering up your home at this point. Picking up some objects outdoors, though, that are lying around and making sure those are secure is a good idea. Also, storm surge is in the moderate category for the barrier islands, especially from Anna Maria northward through Tampa Bay, and then rip currents already occurring and will be a big factor throughout the day. The hurricane warning now in effect from Swanee River all the way across the Big Bend and through the Panhandle of Florida all the way to the Alabama and Florida border there. We're under the tropical storm watch, meaning there's a potential here for tropical storm force winds. Although that chance isn't increasing with the last advisory, that's a good sign. And also a good sign is that this is not switched over to a warning at this point, which is also a pretty good indicator that the storm is going to be far enough offshore that we will more than likely not see tropical storm force sustained winds here along the west coast. You saw that blue extend down into Sarasota, that watch. That is for the coastal waters off of Sarasota County. So again, we'll have a complete update here coming up in just a few minutes, a little bit more on, Michael as it makes its way through the Gulf of Mexico. More later. Back to you.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Bob. While Michael is expected to make landfall in the Panhandle, local emergency officials are preparing for the worst just in case that storm shifts last minute.
ABC7's Erica Jackson joins us live from Anna Maria Island to share how local businesses are preparing and what you can do to get ready. Erica.
Jacqueline, Scott, good evening. Now, the last thing we want during a storm is for tables and chairs like these to be flying around. So now is the time to secure those loose outdoor items. And remember those hurricane kits that we've been telling you about for months? Well, now is the time to get those out and ready in the event Michael shifts last minute.
We can't panic, but we do need to be ready.
Robert Ball with the Childs Restaurant Group is ready for whatever Hurricane Michael may bring. Staff at the 3 Anna Maria Island restaurants plan to board up all buildings and secure its outdoor seating area.
We'll probably start moving all the chairs off the decks this afternoon. Umbrellas won't be out as soon as the wind picks up.
Sandbar restaurant staff got a preview of the storm preps Monday as rain moved through the area, but on a much smaller scale.
I think everybody needs to be prepared, anybody especially in and around the water.
Suncoast Congressman Vern Buchanan and Manatee County emergency officials are preparing for the possibility of storm surge and heavy rain. They say the best way to describe Hurricane Michael is fluid and say our area needs to be ready for anything.
We want to be hopeful, but we also want to be prepared in case it does make a turn.
Manatee County doesn't plan on handing out sandbags or opening shelters as of Monday, but stresses now is the time for families to prepare. Keep your supplies and emergency kits handy and go over your disaster plan.
If it shifts or changes direction, we could see good luck for our area, or it could get worse.
Local businesses are ready for the waves to crash harder and trees to sway faster, hoping Michael doesn't leave his mark on the Suncoast.
As soon as the storm is gone, we're in a mad scramble to get back open.
Now, Manatee County has not yet issued a local state of emergency, but if there is a need to do so, public safety officials will notify county commissioners tomorrow morning. We'll provide updates on that as they become available. Reporting live on Anna Maria Island, Erica Jackson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Erica, thank you. Governor Scott asking President Trump to declare a pre-landfall emergency for Florida in preparation for the storm. That declaration would provide important resources from the federal government as well as free up funding sources for emergency protective measures. The pre-landfall declaration request is for 35 Florida counties, including Manatee, Pinellas, and Hillsborough. All government offices in those counties will be closed tomorrow through Thursday.
Manatee County Public Works crews are giving out sandbags to residents tomorrow at 3 locations across the county. You can pick them up from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow at GT Bray Park, Bennett Park, in the Bradenton Area Convention Center. You are allowed to fill 10 bags per household, but you must show an ID to prove you are a resident.
Florida State University is canceling all classes for the week starting tomorrow because of the storm. New College of Florida, which sits along the Sarasota Bayfront, is currently monitoring the storm just in case they have to do the same. But as of now, all classes will go on as planned there, as well as all public schools in both Manatee and Sarasota counties. In other news today, local postal workers gathered outside Congressman Vern Buchanan's office to protest against the privatization of the Postal Service.
U.S. mail, not for sale. U.S. mail is not for sale.
In May, President Trump created a task force to evaluate USPS and its finances. While that task force has yet to release its findings, those who work for the Postal Service are already worrying about budget cuts. Today, union members gathered to protest.
Wage cuts, job cuts, citizens would get hurt because they're not, they wouldn't receive their mail every day of the week. I mean, private sector, they can control anything they want. Right now, we're controlled by Congress.
In June, the Office of Management and Budgets released a reorganization plan that called for eventual privatization of the U.S. Postal Service. Still to come tonight on your Suncoast News, a prowler caught on camera, and residents of this Suncoast neighborhood say it's not the first time. What homeowners plan to do about it.
And we'll hear from Governor Rick Scott about the preparations everyone should make ahead of Hurricane Michael, even if you're not in its direct path.
Each day, researchers make discoveries that bring us closer to the moment when all cancer patients can become survivors. Their progress is made possible with the help of clinical trials. Clinical trials are the brightest torch researchers have to light their way towards better treatments. And if you've been diagnosed with cancer, they may be your brightest ray of hope. Speak with your doctor and visit standuptocancer.org/clinical trials to learn more. Together, we can stand up for all of us.
Blue 32, Blue 32, hut hut! It's the Gettle Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Gettle dealership. Buy with 0 down, make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gettle location near you or visit Gettle.com.
Gettle's got it.
Our overall experience working with California Closets was phenomenal.
Calm, reassuring,
Through happenstance, we ended up paired with our designer, Jen. She was someone who not only was patient, someone who was professional. She's become extended family.
She had great insight to help direct me towards those things that could make our dreams come true.
We are the Greens, and this is our California Closet story.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
A family living in the Benttree neighborhood in Sarasota is sharing a frightening video. They say someone was trying to break into their home while they were sleeping.
The community association says this isn't the first time this has happened. A number of residents have come forward with video of people snooping around their home. ABC7's Dwayne Lindo is there with what's going on tonight. Dwayne?
Well, Scott, Jacqueline, we've been told that many of these incidents have happened quite recently. The residents here at Benttree are on alert, and the Homeowners Association is taking action. A chilling sight for one family after watching surveillance video of a woman with a bag walking to their door. The individual peeks through their window, then eventually walks away. For residents, the situation is pretty scary.
Because I got two kids. I got a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old, you know, and yeah, I worry about that because people coming around, you can't see them at night.
I moved here because it is quiet, and that's one reason I'm thinking about a security system outside.
Vice President of Benttree's Homeowners Association, Rich Roberts, says this isn't the first time this sort of thing has happened. A number of residents have called in about this type of activity. Roberts says the sheriff's office has been notified, and the association has even contracted a private security firm to identify this person.
They were given the alert days ago.
And although these incidents are still being investigated, Roberts says they've come across one possibility.
In looking at some of the videos, it appears that this may even be a promotion for a company that sells that kind of equipment.
Bottom line, says Roberts, Benttree is a safe community. It's all about taking the necessary precautions to keep safe.
At night, keep everything locked up. Keep your garage doors closed. The only problems we ever have, and I do a monthly analysis of our security situation, our problems are at most petty theft.
And Brown agrees.
Yeah, make sure your doors are locked and call 911. You gotta use the police. That's what they're there for. And you gotta call them, let them do their job.
I spoke with one gentleman who recently purchased this Ring surveillance system, and he says it's one of the best purchases he's made this year. Reporting live in Sarasota County, Dwayne Lindo, your Suncoast News.
Okay, Dwayne, thank you.
All right, let's get back to Bob now. We're talking about a big hurricane that's going to be out there in the Gulf.
Yes, and
away from us, thankfully.
That's the key point, is that a lot of people are worried about it, obviously, here along the Sun Coast, but I can put you at ease. It's not going to turn right and head toward us. That's a certainty. With all these models in such agreement, we haven't seen anything like that for a while.
Right.
It's going to go north, and it's going to be far enough offshore. We're not going to see any hurricane force winds here. Tropical storm force is actually lowered the chances down to about 20%, and that's really good. And more than likely, the tropical storm watch that's in effect could be dropped as early as this evening. Now, that remains to be seen, so don't let your guard down. And I've seen a lot with these storms that move into the Gulf and move through the Gulf far enough off that kind of people get relaxed and don't worry too much about it. But coastal residents should be concerned about it because there's still going to be a surge, heavy surf advisory, rip currents, as well as a coastal flood. Coastal flooding is a real possibility, with high tide being a little bit more extreme than usual. We're talking 2-foot high tides. You couple that with a 1 to maybe 3 foot storm surge, you're talking 4 or 5 foot storm surge, and that could be an issue for some roads and beaches here along the Sun Coast. That's what we have. We also have the possibility of isolated tornadoes. I mentioned the rip currents, already a good possibility. These are some of the big waves, and they're only going to get bigger as the storm continues to move into the Gulf of Mexico. This is from Barbara Siebers, and I encourage people to send their photos into pics at mysuncoast.com throughout this event. And also, it looks like rip currents and coastal flooding a real possibility. Now, storm risks. This is always kind of vital to keep an eye on. One thing I noticed is this tornado risk I put in is in the moderate category, medium category there. When these bands develop, if they do, and move over us, they have a possibility of generating a tornado. I saw one move through earlier today, driving to work, had winds up to 40 miles an hour, and I was kind of concerned for something twisting up. I saw a lot of motion in the atmosphere. Storm surge will be a moderate risk as well. Damaging winds, I don't look to see any sustained damaging winds, but obviously tornadoes bring those damaging winds, and we could see wind gusts up to 40, 50 miles an hour with the individual cells. Rip currents, obviously going to be a big issue. Coastal flooding, minor coastal flooding, not out of the question. I saw that with George, a storm that moved through years ago, generate a big surge once it moved north of our latitude, and it was still over 150 miles offshore. You can notice also some big storms east of the center. The center here, these are several hundred miles east of the center, and we could tap into some of that. It's going to be sporadic, and most of it should stay offshore. There's the latest on it. We get a full advisory coming up at 11 o'clock. We'll get an intermediate at 8. We'll have that on our website as well. And winds expected to increase in intensity. Storm surge is going to be a huge deal here in the Big Bend area of Florida, from Apalachicola all the way to the Swanee River, where things are going to be significant. Here's that chances for us seeing tropical storms, sustained winds 35, 45, 50 miles an hour. They've lowered a little bit. They're down to 30% now for Manatee County. They have been as high as 40%, so that's a good sign. Still that chance, though, of getting some tropical storm force winds. Now, the warnings have also been issued now for the panhandle of Florida from the Swanee River all the way over to the Alabama and Florida border. We're still under a tropical storm watch for parts of Manatee, mainly Anna Maria Island northward. This is a coastal hurricane or a tropical storm watch in effect for the coastal waters of Sarasota. It does not include over the land. Now, those winds will be anywhere from 20 to 30 miles an hour tomorrow. It will eventually switch around to the southwest. Reason why we don't think it's going to make a big bend, there's nothing to the west of it except for this trough, which will drive the storm to the north. Also, high pressure east of the state will also keep it on that northerly fix, and you can see that moisture moving in this direction, so there could even be a little kick to the west, moving further away from us in the next models. We'll keep an eye on that. But these little rogue cells you see right there have a potential for generating a twister or two. We'll see more of those tomorrow. You see it moving right through near Punta Gorda, dissipated, but tomorrow they'll stick around a little longer. We had wind gusts as high as nearly 40 miles an hour with those cells that moved through right around 2 o'clock. So we'll keep an eye on these banding features as they move through and up across our region tomorrow. Temperatures obviously will be a little bit cooler because of the clouds and showers. And again, we count on this trough to drive the storm north. We don't see anything to the west of the system which would cause it to move to the northeast. And we're still waiting for fall. It looks like it's on schedule right around the 16th. So we will see a cold front move through on the 16th, it looks like, as far as that goes. Real quickly, the 70% chance for showers scattered about. We may even see a little bit of sunshine. The rain chance is staying high all the way through Thursday. It will be windy, too, all the way through Wednesday and even into Thursday morning, I do believe, as we move through time. Now, as far as the forecast goes, we are going to continue to see basically nice weather for the weekend, and we'll have much more on that coming up obviously, throughout the night on Facebook and mysuncoast.com. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. Governor Rick Scott warning people who live near the Panhandle in the Big Bend region to prepare now for the impact of that rapidly developing Hurricane Michael. Michael is expected to bring storm surge, rains, flash flooding, and possibly tornadoes. Scott is reminding Floridians just how dangerous this storm can be.
If you go back to what happened with Irma last year with the storm surge we had down the Keys, the water rushes in and the water rushes out and takes everything out of your house. Everything is taken out. It has to be really heavy for it not to be taken out. You will not survive storm surge.
Tallahassee, there is also concerns about potential storm surge in the Appalachee Bay, which some experts describe as the second most vulnerable stretch of coastline in the entire nation for storm surge because of the shape of the coastline.
Tallahassee.
There has been a major hurricane landfall in that part of the Florida coastline since the late 1800s. So no one alive in this part of the world now will have experienced a hurricane of this strength in this part of the state.
As I just mentioned, there's also concern about potential storm surge in the Appalachee Bay, which some experts describe as the second most vulnerable stretch of coastline in the entire nation for storm surge because of the shape of that coastline.
When we come back, we'll show you how area beaches are preparing for Hurricane Michael. Stay with us.
This week, the midterm sprint, the economy, national security, the Supreme Court, President Trump. Americans vote on the issues that matter most. With less than a month to Election Day, World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP is the largest locally owned CPAP supply company in the area. Is it time to replace your old equipment? The staff at Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP can show you the most up-to-date CPAP equipment and supplies to meet your sleep apnea needs, including portable travel devices and the SoClean automatic CPAP sanitizer. We serve all of Southwest Florida, giving the highest quality of care with the finest CPAP equipment. Please visit our website, sarasotacpap.com.
Rugs as Art. You know the name, you know the building, but do you know what's inside? Yes, Rugs as Art is Florida's #1 area rug superstore. But there is so much more. Amazing furniture, accessories, and art. All this and more. Come see for yourself. You'll love our personal touch and be pleasantly surprised by our affordable prices. Rugs as Art and more. There is so much more to explore.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sunny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call, and you cannot be turned down for any reason. Even if you have health problems or are living on a fixed income, guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance policies could work for you with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
My mom didn't have life insurance and the cost all fell on me. And that's expensive. We're still paying for that.
Yeah, we're still paying for that.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now. In one phone call, you can help prepare your family with protection amounts up to $25,000. There are no medical tests or health questions. And remember, you cannot be turned down for any reason. In fact, TruStage policies are already protecting over 18 million Americans. And rates are designed to be affordable, starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease.
When I leave, everything will be taken care of for them.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now for a free, no-obligation quote. TrueStage offers plans to fit your budget with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage. Call 1-800-218-4991 now.
Know your land, know your prey.
Saturdays at 5:30 and Sundays at 2 on the ABC7 live stream.
Area beaches are preparing for beach erosion ahead of Hurricane Michael. Although the storm is not set to impact Sarasota severely, government officials want to make sure that beaches already sensitive to erosion are extra prepared. We sent crews to both Lido Key and Longboat Key today. Additional sand and trap bags were set up a few months ago in preparation for any massive storms. Tonight at 11, we'll show you more about what these preparations mean for our area beaches.
Bob, what do you think timing will be, you know, as far as like a surge?
Surge, yeah. A surge is going to be when that storm gets closer to us in latitude, which will be mainly tomorrow midday and then on into the Wednesday morning. High tide will be right around 1:30 tomorrow. That's the extreme tide. And then again at about 1 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. So those will be two tides we'll have to watch closely.
Okay. Thank you, Bob. World News Tonight is coming up next.
We'll see you again at 7 and 11. Have a good night.